It's great to be back.
This is WNBC TV, New York.
News Center 4 at 11 with special election coverage. Brought to you by Citibank and by Amoco.
Good evening to you once again. I'm Chuck Scarborough. Jack Cafferty and I will be bringing you the latest election results this evening in Decision 78. And in New York State, Decision 78 has all the makings of a Democratic sweep for the statewide offices right now. We are projecting that Governor Hugh Carey will win in his race for the governorship, to repeat his four-term race there, that he will beat Perry B. Duryea, the Assembly Minority Leader and Montauk lobster seafood man. And right now in the statewide returns, as we take a look at the boards, we can see that Governor Carey has a substantial lead with 25% of the precincts reporting our projected winner, the incumbent, with 56% of the vote, a little better than 600,000. Perry Duryea, 44% of the vote right now. A clear lead for Governor Hugh Carey, who once again is our projected winner. Now let's take a look at this citywide. Remember the numbers. You can see the predominance of voting right now is from the city. And in the city, it's 66% for Carey, 34% for Duryea. So you can see right now New York City is the story in this race. Take a look at Long Island and the results there. Now this is Duryea country. Duryea is from Montauk. And look at this, how close it is on Long Island. Duryea with 53% to Carey's 47% in the breakout of the vote right there. Tony Guida is standing by right now. Governor Carey came on very strong in the final days of campaigning, came from behind to win. And he'll keep his job for another 4 years. Tony Guida has been looking at the reasons for this. He has our News Center 4 Associated Press poll. Tony?
Chuck, one of the big issues of the campaign was who did more to aid New York City. Now, of the people who voted for a candidate because of his stand on New York City, 9 out of 10 favored Carey. Our poll also showed the subject of trust to be strong for Carey. Almost two-thirds, 63% of the voters who said they picked a candidate for trustworthiness picked Carey. And on the issue of taxes, 51% of the voters who are concerned about holding down taxes voted for Carey. And that probably was a result of Carey's announcement early on of a tax cut of more than $1 billion, the main effect of that to take place in 1979. Chuck?
All right, Tony, thank you very much. One thing about Governor Carey is that he does come from behind. Carl Stokes is here right now. And Carl, Hugh Carey in 1974, if you'll recall back then, came from behind in the primary to beat Howard Samuels, came from behind to beat Malcolm Wilson in the general election. He came from behind to defeat his own lieutenant governor this time around in the primary, the first primary an incumbent's ever faced. Then he came from behind and fooled the polls to win again this evening. Why does Hugh Carey keep coming from behind to win?
Because they're two separate situations. One is when he came behind as a candidate, another one now as an incumbent. As an incumbent, he began with a kind of...
Carl, excuse me, yes. Microphone.
Would that help if I had the microphone? Okay. I had to take it off while the camera moved. As a candidate, he had the advantage of just running with certain party support. But as an incumbent, he had the anti-position that you remember Rockefeller used to run with a great number of times. In this come behind this year, though, he was blessed with the kind of candidates who ran against him. In politics, we used to say you can't beat somebody with nobody. And unfortunately, for these candidates, many people did not regard Marianne Krupsek as a viable person against the governor. She helped him to rehabilitate herself. Then when against Duryea wasn't able to even carry in a great manner his home base on Long Island.
So in a sense, the primary challenge really benefited Governor Carey.
It certainly did benefit him.
Thank you, Carl. We have another projected winner for you in the race for Attorney General of New York State. This opened up because Louis Lefkowitz, who has been one of the greatest vote-getters New York's ever had, decided to retire after 22 years in office. And we have Bronx Borough President Robert Abrams, our projected winner. Abrams is an incredible vote-getter himself. He almost beat Lefkowitz last time around. This time around, as you can see, with 25% of the precincts reporting, Robert Abrams is beating Michael Roth 60% to 40% and is our projected winner. In the controller's race right now, it's a little bit closer than that. We aren't able to project a winner. But again, the Democratic candidate is ahead, and this is the fourth statewide office that we see a Democrat ahead. 25% of the precincts reporting. Harrison Golden, the New York City controller, the only survivor of the city fiscal crisis, who was elected overwhelmingly last time around a year ago, is ahead in this race, as you can see. I didn't quite see the percentages there. What were they again? Golden about 54%, 56 to 44, was it? Okay, very fine. In the 18th Congressional District, we'll take a look at the results right there. This has been a race of millionaires, indeed. This is perhaps the most expensive race in the country. We reckon that the two candidates here, Burden and Green, have spent over $1 million on 100,000 voters, which is $10 a voter in this campaign, and look what it's gotten them, a dead heat with 4% of the precincts reporting. This one will certainly bear watching. This was a seat that was Ed Koch's seat. He abandoned that to become mayor, and this was the seat that saw S. William Green defeat Bella Abzug 8 months ago. So Green is the incumbent there, the Republican, but he is at this point in a dead heat. In the 23rd Congressional District, we have a projected winner. Right now, Peter Pizer, who once was a Republican, is now going to represent that district as a Democrat. 11% of the precincts reporting. Pizer, 57%. Angelo Martinelli, former mayor of Yonkers, 43%. And an interesting note, in the 41st Assembly District in central Brooklyn, parts of Flatbush, and in Crown Heights, we are told by our reporter Robert Potts that Stanley Steingut has conceded defeat after a quarter century in office. A very strange race, and we'll have more on that for you later. Right now, these messages.
You expect more from a leader.
You expect innovative ideas from Amoco. We were a leader in developing lead-free gasoline, the first major brand with 2 grades of lead-free, the first with premium lead-free. Amoco Premium Lead-Free, proven by experience to help stop engine run-on, to burn smoother and help stop knock, and even improve mileage because you don't have to change the timing to prevent knock. Amoco Premium Lead-Free.
Don't you deserve interest on your checking account? Aren't you fed up with banks using your money and giving you nothing in return? Well, those days are over. Now Citibank can give interest on checking. It's 5% checking. 24-hour banking gets better. So get out, go to the window and shout, I'm going to Citibank to get what I deserve. Interest on checking. I'm going to Citibank to get what I deserve.
Interest on checking! Interest on checking!
Interest on checking!
I'm going to Citibank to get what I deserve! Interest on checking!
On American Airlines, you get what you pay for. As a full-fare passenger, only you can select a seat when you make your reservation. You can select seats for your whole trip, including connections and your flight back home. And you can get all your boarding passes at once to avoid all those lines. On American, you finally get the full-fare treatment you deserve. You get what you pay for.
We're American Airlines, doing what we do best.
We buy the big guy's typewriters, but you wanted Wang's word processor. Okay, David, let's see your giant killer tackle this giant report.
Yes, sir. With the Wang word processor, your secretary can store 4,000 pages and retrieve, correct, rearrange, and retype them faster than ever.
Sir, your giant report, thanks to Wang.
Wang! They are giant killers!
In New Jersey, former New York Knicks basketball star Bill Bradley is on his way to Washington to take a seat in the United States Senate, a seat that used to be occupied by Senator Cliff Case. Bradley defeated the Republican challenger Jeffrey Bell this evening. Both of them never been elected to office before. Bell staged basically a one-issue campaign, that issue being a massive tax cut, and it was not enough. As you can see, with 36% of the precincts reporting, Bradley is the projected winner in that race, getting 54% of the vote to Bell's 46%. So it is yet another in a long string of victories for Bill Bradley. Here are 2 reports now, one from Bradley headquarters and the next one from Bell headquarters.
Jeff Bell ran a clean campaign based on issues. He and I disagreed fundamentally. But because in 21 debates, we discussed what to do about taxes and government, inflation and jobs, we participated in a real campaign, not one based on personalities or innuendo. Jeff Bell was a hard and worthy adversary, and for that, he has my respect.
Given the success of our campaign in getting our message across, the verdict of the voters is clear. For the present, the electorate wants Mr. Bradley's policies rather than mine. But what has proved true... But what has proved true in 1978 may not prove true in the politics of the 1980s.
All right, repeating that Bill Bradley has won the election in New Jersey. In Connecticut, Governor Ella Grasso is winning re-election tonight over the Republican challenger Ronald Saracen. And Ronald Saracen is out of a job as of this evening. He gave up a seat in Congress in Connecticut's 5th Congressional District in order to run against the incumbent governor. And she is winning quite handily, as you can see, with 62% of the precincts reporting in Connecticut. Governor Grasso is getting 58% of the vote to only 42% for Saracen. By the way, the battle to fill Saracen's seat in the 5th CD in Connecticut is quite a contest. We'll have more on that for you later. First, though, we are going to give you again 2 reports. The first one from Ella Grasso's headquarters, and then we'll have a statement from Ronald Saracen.
I think we won. And I think that it was a great victory, truly. We had a wonderful turnout, and that's the expression of the confidence and the interest of the people of our state in their affairs. And I said before that we've been so honored to serve them all of these years, and it will be my pleasure in these next 4 years to renew our partnership and to get all of our work done.
I just was able to get a call into Mrs. Grasso. Her phones were rather busy, and it took us a few more minutes than I expected to, and so I apologize for the delay in coming down here. I did call, obviously, to concede, to wish her well, as she...
All right, by the way, Ella Grasso was the only woman nominated by one of the major parties for this election in the country this evening. Tony Guida has been looking at some of the poll information that we've been collecting all day long at selected precincts around Connecticut, and he has some thoughts on why she's rolling up a big victory tonight. Tony?
Jack, our new Center for Associated Press Election Day poll shows that political newcomer Bill Bradley, we go to Jersey first, political newcomer Bill Bradley won because of party solidarity. 91% of the state's Democrats voted for Bradley, 73% of those voters who call themselves liberals. And surprisingly, 44% of the voters in New Jersey who agreed with Bell's call for a tax cut still voted for Bradley. Now, getting to Connecticut, Governor Ella Grasso fashioned her victory with 65% of the state's Italian-American voters, 60% of the women voters, and with 9 out of 10 of the 54% who gave her a job rating of good or excellent. She was also able to keep Republican Ron Saracen from making any sizable inroads into any sector of the electorate. Chuck?
We'll take it here. Thank you, Tony. A couple of other notes. In New Jersey, the race for Essex County Executive and the government reorganization over there, 26-year-old Peter Shapiro is the projected winner, and Hialeah is being defeated in New Jersey. It was on the ballot as an additional form of legalized gambling. The Hialeah referendum is going down to defeat, and News Center 4 will continue right after these messages.
Hey, Tony, I'm going to change your sausage.
Change my sausage?
Change your sausage.
Today, you're getting brown and served.
Get country fresh flavor without that greasy taste. Change your sausage to brown and serve.
Ready in 1/3 the time. Swift Premium Brown and Serve sausages have country fresh flavor with a juicy taste, not a greasy taste.
Juicy!
Not greasy. I'm glad you changed my sausage.
Change your sausage to brown and serve.
Introducing a new road car for America's toughest proving ground, the '79 Ford LTD. With more front seat room, more rear seat room, more window area, and more handling ease than last year's LTD, plus the power of a V8 engine standard. A road car to take you cross town or across the country.
This land is your land. This land is my land.
For America's toughest proving ground, the '79 LTD, only at your Ford dealers.
Abracadabra, I sit on his knee. Presto, changeo, and now he is me. Hocus pocus, we take her to bed. Magic is fun. We're dead.
Josephine Levine presents Magic, a terrifying love story starring Anthony Hopkins, Anne Margaret, and Burgess Meredith. Rated R.
Starts tomorrow at select theaters in Manhattan, Westchester, Long Island, and New Jersey.
This loyal Dannon user actually nicknamed her baby boy after our yogurt. People are loyal to all-natural Dannon because we're loyal to them.
Jack and I will have more election returns for you later this evening. But first, the other news of the day. A Staten Island ferry missed its slip by 700 feet in fog-bound downtown Manhattan this morning. More than 250 commuters were injured. Most of them were released after emergency room treatment. There are 5 of them, though, who are still hospitalized, and Bob Teague has a report.
3,000 Manhattan-bound commuters were standing or sitting on the 730 Staten Island ferry, plowing through heavy fog when it crashed into a concrete seawall. The impact sent hundreds of passengers sprawling on the decks, against steel fixtures, and down the stairways. Some commuters got squeezed between cars parked on the boat.
I didn't see anything. All I know, I came crashing through the door. I fell on my head, and the next thing, everybody was on my feet, and from my knee down, I feel very paralyzed.
The boat hit the wall near the edge of Battery Park, about 250 yards from the ferry slip, hidden by the fog. The impact buckled the asphalt roadway in the park. The boat itself suffered heavy damage, but did not take on water. The steel deck on the bow, half an inch thick, was peeled back like the top of a sardine can. The boat's captain, a veteran of 30 years on the Staten Island run, was badly shaken by the accident. He cannot explain how it happened, despite the use of radar and a compass. A lot of questions have yet to be answered as to what happened to the 730 Staten Island ferry and why. We may get some of the answers at a Coast Guard hearing set for Thursday. Bob Teague, News Center 4.
The owner of a candy distributorship in Audubon Avenue in Manhattan shot to death one of his employees this evening. 22-year-old Santos Fernandez was killed during a holdup attempt at the store. The owner told police that 2 men entered the store. One of them began to pull a weapon. At that point, the owner took out his pistol and he fired, hitting Fernandez instead of the 2 holdup men. Detective Horace Ford, an off-duty cop working as a bank teller, was killed yesterday during a shootout at the manufacturer's Hanover Trust branch in Flushing, Queens. The robbery suspect, David Robinson, was also killed. And Heather Bernard reports that detectives are searching for accomplices.
Since early this morning, they've been studying photographs of the crowd taken in the bank before and during the holdup, determining who was there and why.
We know through the photos in the bank that there was about 35 people present in the bank. As of this time, we have located about 10. Would be helpful to us if we could contact, or they could contact us, the other 25 people that fled.
Robinson was living about a block and a half away from the bank at 142-21 Franklin Avenue. Police arrested the man they say he was staying with here, Raymond Lemoire. Lemoire was charged with violating his parole by associating with a known criminal. Information detectives received here led them to a second associate, Robert Jennings, who police arrested yesterday for possession of 3 sawed-off shotguns and 47,000 amphetamine pills, part of a shipment police say was taken from a Mount Vernon pharmaceutical company in an earlier armed robbery. Police say the dead gunmen met both Lemoire and Jennings in prison. Robinson was sent to Attica in 1973, where he served 5 of a 7-year sentence for armed robbery. Police say he had been transferred to Clinton last winter after they say he stabbed a fellow inmate. He was released 3 months later. Heather Bernard, News Center 4.
And on this election day, the vote on the dollar in the stock market was one of little confidence. The dollar lost ground on European currency exchanges. Gold bullion prices jumped more than $5 an ounce. On the New York Stock Exchange, the Dow Jones Industrial Average dropped almost 15 points to 800.07.
Here they come. Here come all the great new fashion looks from London Fog. Jackets, warm wool coats, leathers and raincoats that are exciting, classic, absolutely fabulous. That's the London Fog tradition. All the fashion news, plus that famous attention to detail. That's what we at London Fog call quality. That's what you call value.
Fog outerwear is available at Hanes Company.
Now there's a brighter way to Amsterdam.
We're shining brighter.
Starting December 13th, National flies non-stop to the heart of Europe, from New York to Amsterdam.
We're shining brighter.
Now National, the 3rd largest U.S. airline to Europe, flies you in wide cabin DC-10 comfort to Amsterdam.
We're shining brighter.
All with a way of doing things that's as big and bright as the sun itself. The bigger we get,
the brighter we shine. Watch us shine.
Everyone is following their luck to Lotto, New York's big money game, where you have 2 chances to win a fortune for $1. Just choose 6 numbers from 40 in each game. Then turn in your ticket and get the carbon copy, so you can check the numbers you picked against the numbers drawn on TV every Saturday night. Every number you match brings you closer to one of thousands of cash prizes, and 6 right could win up to $250,000 or more. Lotto, play it wherever you see the sign. Your lucky numbers could win you a fortune.
I told 2 friends about Fabergé organic shampoo. And we told 2 friends. And so on, and so on. We Dallas cheerleaders are telling our friends about super rich Fabergé organic shampoo with pure wheat germ oil and honey. For super shine, super body, and fresh smelling hair, use it every day.
You tell 2 friends, and they'll tell 2 friends, and so on, and so on, and so on, and so on, and so on.
Fabergé organic shampoo and conditioner with pure wheat germ oil and honey.
Iran's new military government tightened its grip today. As Jim Bitterman reports, the day saw arrests of prominent Iranians while businesses tried to clean up after the devastation caused by rioters in Iran.
Iran's new military government has not changed things here much. One of its first promises was that there would be adequate supplies of gasoline and heating oil. Still, there were long lines waiting for rationed amounts of fuel in one of the richest oil-producing countries in the world. On the streets, there are more troops than ever enforcing the martial law. Perhaps because of the military presence, there has been relative calm on the streets. One reason, the universities have been closed for a week, streets around them blocked by soldiers. Meanwhile, Tehran residents were trying to clean up the mess left by the rioters. The government information offices were among those attacked. There was very little the demonstrators had not destroyed. At the Amran Bank on Cox Street, the employees were beginning to sweep up the debris. There had been $10,000 in the bank's safe, which is gone now. The manager didn't have any idea when he might be able to open again. The Tehran Bazaar has been closed for 3 days now. There is an old story here that if the bazaar remains closed for 3 days in a row, the government will fall. But now that the military is in charge, that doesn't seem likely. The anti-government forces here are not armed. With the military running the government, opposing the government is a risky business. Jim Bitterman, NBC News, Tehran.
Indira Gandhi, India's former prime minister, is back in political office this evening in a position of power, too. Mrs. Gandhi won a seat in the Indian parliament in an off-year election. The victory puts her in the position of being national opposition leader. Mrs. Gandhi was ousted as prime minister 19 months ago. Marv has sports after these messages.
It's 11 a.m. Do you know where your package is? Emery Express, the small package service that'll get it there before 11 a.m.
We took Arnold honey wheatberry bread to Paris because we respect good bakers, and we wanted to see if they respect us. They were intrigued by our original recipe, made with 2 different grinds of the wheatberry, fresh honey, tart raisin juice, and never any preservatives.
C'est bon. Je respecte ce boulanger américain.
Honey wheatberry. It makes Arnold one of the world's most respected bakers.
For over 100 years, every year has been a vintage year for Kirin beer. Kirin, the beer that's as distinctive as wine.
The Caine Mutiny and the Winds of War has now written the ultimate World War II novel, War and Remembrance, by Herman Wouk, the most eagerly awaited bestseller of our time.
Here's Marv Albert to bring us up to date in the world of sport on this election eve. Marv?
Well, Chuck, in that other election today was Jim Rice of the Boston Red Sox over Ron Guidry of the New York Yankees in a surprising romp. A landslide for Rice, who, of course, had a sensational year. .315 batting average, major league leader in 6 categories, including his 46 homers, 139 RBIs. But you have to be surprised that it was not even close. Rice with 20 first-place votes, Guidry with only 8, and Rice won it by 61 points. No question with the feeling that Guidry would be a shoo-in for the Cy Young. It hurt Ron's chances, and you can argue the merits of these 2 guys from now until next season. But Jim Rice has won it. He is the American League MVP. Scoreboard at the Coliseum. Islanders beat Minnesota 5-2. They are now within 3 points of the Rangers. Tomorrow night at the Garden, the Rangers go against the North Stars with 7 straight wins. The surprising Rangers have been on fire. A remarkable turnaround accomplished by this man, the coach and GM, Fred Shiro, who has turned this team defensively with both goalies, Wayne Thomas and John Davidson, excelling. I talked about the surge with Davidson.
You know, it's a 60-minute game. That's one thing we've learned. Yeah, we did quit a few times last year, and we did get down if we were down a couple of goals, but I mean, LA got us down early. We gave up a puck at our blue line. They came in and scored, and we gave it up again. They came in and scored again on a breakaway. We were down 2-1, but our guys fought right back, and we killed them in the third period. I think right now we're oozing with the confidence that if we do get down, no problem. It's a 60-minute game. We've taken a while to learn it, but we finally have accepted it, and we're not quitting at all.
All right, the other NHL games tonight. Another win for Atlanta, beat Vancouver 4-2. In the third, Toronto leads St. Louis 5-0. NBA, Portland's win streak stopped at 5, walloped by Washington 143-103. Milwaukee over Boston 125-108. Celtics now 2-8. San Diego beat New Orleans 121-115. And the hot Lakers 112. The Chicago Bulls 111. That's sports. Back to Chuck.
Thank you, Marvin. Here's Dr. Frank Field with a look at the weather, which was part of the story this election day. Frank?
Yes, it was, and it's cloudy now. There are a few showers around, most of them missing the city. Here are the readings in Central Park. At the moment, under cloudy skies, it is 49. The relative humidity, 77%. The wind is north at 9. Barometer is falling, and the 5-day forecast indicates that we have some lovely mild weather coming our way. Our 5-day forecast shows that temperatures will gradually begin to bounce back. After partly cloudy skies tomorrow, with the breaks appearing during the afternoon, we expect to get up to a high of 56. For Thursday, fair and mild. And note that on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the temperatures start inching back again, getting up into the low 60s on Thursday, into the mid-60s on Friday. And then by Saturday and Sunday, who knows? Forget about fall, with temperatures getting close to 70 degrees, lots of sunshine if our 5-day forecast holds up. So, for tonight, we're looking for cloudy skies, some periods of light rain still possible, a low of 43. And for tomorrow, a gradual improvement becoming fair, and Jack and Chuck will be back right after this.
Ready, set, come to Altman's for pre-holiday fashion sales. Save on winning sweater dresses, knit especially for Altman's, worth $66 to $95. Save half on French, Italian, and American designer scarves. You'll even save on gold and diamonds. You're the winner at Altman's, a most surprising store. Branches, too.
We buy the big guy's typewriters, but you wanted Wang's word processor. Okay, David, let's see your giant killer tackle this giant report.
Yes, sir. With a Wang word processor, your secretary can store 4,000 pages, then retrieve, correct, rearrange, and retype them faster than ever.
Sir, your giant report, thanks to Wang.
Wang! They are giant killers!
I look everywhere. I find nothing.
Suppose you lose your wallet on vacation.
I've no cash, no credit cards. You have nothing?
What about your raincoat?
Good idea. Mario?
We have no money.
We got problems. What'll you do? What will you do? Rely on American Express traveler's checks. If they're lost, you can get a full refund at over 60,000 places. American Express traveler's checks. Don't leave home without them.
Mr. Van Dyke, you're here to play touche. The object, get 4 pieces of your color in a row. But touche has a hidden force that may flip a piece to your opponent's color. So you may outwit your opponent, but can you beat the force?
Touche, the unique strategy game with a hidden force that changes every game.
Touche, Mr. Van Dyke, you beat the force. This time.
Touche, by Gabriel.
We have a very interesting development right now in the 18th Congressional District on Manhattan's east side. Even though the vote count is very, very close at this point, within a percentage point of each other, Bill Green and Carter Burden, if we take a look at the boards real quickly, we'll look at that. You can see right now that Green is ahead by only 2%. And we haven't called a winner here, but Mr. Green has claimed victory, and Carter Burden, a few moments ago, explained how he lost.
I think if you can point to any single factor
It was probably the endorsements of the dailies, particularly coming when they did.
The three daily papers.
Yeah, and I think primarily the Times coming out on Monday, right before the election. That's tough. The Times is very influential in the district, and I think based on the polling that we've been doing, I was well ahead, and you could see a shift immediately, and I think that really got the undecided vote, and that's the margin of victory.
And one other note, Governor Jerry Brown has been projected winner to win re-election in California. We'll have more for you in 20 minutes.
NBC News continues its election night report, Decision 78. Here is John Chancellor.
And NBC News now projects Edmund G. Brown, Jr. to be the winner of the contest for governor of California, beating Ebel Younger. Jerry Brown expected to build up a fairly sizable lead.
I guess that's my clue to be here in the morning. I'm here. Good morning. This is the morning show for all you weirdos and irregulars out there. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it. I really do appreciate it. I'm a little off this morning, as I have been off all week long. I'm getting used to the new format and getting up earlier. I'm now getting up at 4 a.m. my time to do the show. It's Thursday, so it's a bit wearing on me at this point. I am happy to be here, though. And this is the morning show. Let's talk first about the new format. Of course, things look different here on the channel and on the morning show. I'm going to have some water here. This is a real show. This is reality. This is done in my home, in my living room. I do it at this time of the day because this is when the house is quiet. This is when my family is asleep. And I have just enough time to come in and give you 2 hours. So this is the beginning of that 2 hours this morning. Like I said, this is the new format. The show is taking on a whole lot of changes this season. Season 5, I've been doing this for 5 seasons, while the first 2 seasons were around 32 to 36-ish episodes. Seasons 3 and 4 picked up quite a bit and actually got over 100 episodes the first season, and the third season, and then the fourth season I actually went up to over 200 episodes. I'm hoping to beat that this year. I got off to a late start. 2 weeks I've lost already this year not doing shows, but I think in the long run it will pay off because I really spent the time over those 2 weeks to try to put together the best shows that I can for you throughout the week. We have themed shows every day during the week. This is kind of one of those days that we just like to sit and talk about things that we used to buy back in the day. Everybody buys stuff. Everybody will always buy stuff. We've been buying stuff for hundreds and possibly thousands of years. Humans have been purchasers of goods and wares. So on this show, Thursdays, we're going to kind of have a consumer advocate type show where we'll bring on products, we'll test them, we'll play with them, we'll give our opinions of them, any tips or tricks you need to know about them, and if you need to contact the the manufacturers and sellers of the items, then we'll help you do that. We'll also bring to you recalls and customer alerts and stuff. Now, mind you, we're coming to you from the 1970s and 80s era, so you have to time travel with us in order to understand the context of everything that we're doing here. At some point in the morning, on the morning show, we are going to be taking commercial breaks. On Mondays is Monday Movie Memories, where we'll be discussing movies and actors and actresses and theaters and studios and writers, producers, directors, all of the above. And we'll also play movie trailers as the way to kind of break up the show. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, we're going to use commercials to break up the show. Television Tuesdays is kind of a news program, morning news program, where we discuss the news topics of the era. And we kind of have an extension of the Monday Movie Memories, where during the commercials we'll play promos and commercials and items, little tidbits that we couldn't fit onto Monday, having to do with Monday's topic, character, actor, writer, director, etc. I am happy that my microphone is on. Quite often I will look down and see that I've been talking with no microphone on. And bear with me if you're watching and I'm on and you can't hear anything, please let me know. Because on occasion I will come back from a break and not have the microphone turned back on. So on Wednesdays, my most favorite day of the week, yesterday was a fabulous show. The first time I had done a radio type show broadcast in well over a year. I used to do a nighttime nonsense and nostalgia show that was kind of loosely formatted after my father's radio show from the 1970s. And I had a blast. We played a lot of commercials from the past. We played a lot of jazz music, 1920s and 30s jazz music from the past. And we also talked at great length about B. Mitchell Reed, the disc jockey who changed everything. In fact, if it weren't for him, I dare say I would not be doing my Wednesday shows the way I am. Next week, tune in for the Old Time Radio Wednesday, because we are going to be talking about Wolfman Jack. Next Monday and Tuesdays, our actress will be Brooke Shields. And I'm not sure what we're going to be discussing a week from today. I haven't got there yet. It's usually after the show that I will plan the whole idea for the next week's show. Right now I worry about today's show until today's show is over, and then afterward I will pick up the mouse and keyboard and curate a new time trip for us. So I do hope you like the new format and the new screen setup. I wanted to give you a little bit closer feel of what it was like to watch TV on. At some point I'll get a filter that makes my screen look like I'm coming to you through a TV screen. But for now, But for now, this is what we got. And I think we're doing pretty good. We've come a long way from my first episode when I just turned the computer on and sat in a chair drinking coffee, murmuring to myself because I did not know what to do. By the second season, I was a chatterbox, and I had come up with some paper graphics that my daughter created, drew, and then I scanned, and then colored and printed, and then just put it in front of the camera. Basically, I just put the graphic in front of the camera on a board, and was able to hinge it out of the way like a door opening, and that was innovative, and different, but it was a bit hokey after that that season. So I bumped it up a bit. I found a good second computer, which became my first computer, and my second computer then became it became my graphics computer. So now I can do two things at once during a live broadcast, which kind of switched things up for me. And then I spent 2 seasons working with I spent 1 season just working between 2 computers, and then I upgraded to the OBS. Somebody, a school teacher, a friend of mine, of ours, mentioned that when she was doing her schooling from a computer back a little while ago, she was using a program that allowed her to bring in different cameras and stuff, and allowed her to show her students what she was doing at the same time as being on and showing the board and everything. And she could do a whole lot more than just in front of you and then hold something up in front of the camera, right? And I thought that was really neat. So I found that software, and I also purchased, which I used for 2 seasons, a Blackmagic ATM Mini Pro audio video switcher, which allows me to bump between cameras seamlessly and bring you a better show. So it took me a whole season to figure out how to use this thing, this OBS. And over the end of this last season, I really invested time here on the show and away from the show, just in the studio. I invested a lot of time in trying to figure it all out. And it was well worth the effort, because I found that it wasn't as difficult as my head had made it out to be. It turns out that it's not too difficult to just start playing around with and learning. And I Googled a couple of things, and from there I just kind of let it take over. And with the help of my assistant and receptionist and the heads and the departments themselves, Miriam, she's over in the next booth here, and she takes all of my phone calls. She checks the fax machine for me. In fact, if you guys would like to subscribe now, it's free, and just check with Miriam, and she'll hook you up with a subscription. And yeah, so do that. All right, we are gonna hang out for a couple of more minutes and then take a quick break, because it's early and I need to get my act together. So we're going to take a commercial break in a few minutes so that I can kind of start rolling this morning's show along. And when we do come back from the commercial break, we'll start talking about our topic for the day, the Simon electronic game. Now, you can't say video game because there was no screen. There was nothing video about it. It was electronic. It was simply a little board with with some buttons. That's all it was. Buttons and lights and a little computer board. And that's all it was. It was really, really, really basic. One of the most basic basic games out there. But its simplicity is what really turned people on, I think. Let's see. I've got this. I drank my coffee early this morning. I did. I got up at 4. I was drinking coffee by 4:10. Well, 4:05 really. I mean, I literally walked up, got out of bed, and walked right to the coffee machine, poured coffee, creamer, warmed it up, and started drinking coffee. It was awesome. And I finished the entire cup of coffee, which I don't usually do. It takes me sometimes hours of sitting here doing the show and sipping on coffee, and sometimes I'll never finish the cup. It'll just stay there. And I like being able to actually drink my coffee in one shot within 1/2 hour and get that huge burst of energy and get that huge pickup first thing in the morning. And then, of course, before I come on, I have to put my dentures in and all that entails. So I may actually get up. I told my daughter I may actually get up a little, like 20 minutes earlier. And she says, "What? You're already getting up at 4? Sometimes I get up. Most mornings I get up and she's still awake." She's a night owl. Well, she's a morning owl. She stays up all night long, just like I used to, watching TV. She stays up all night long on the computer and on the Nintendo or the Wii, or she's got all these games, or sometimes she'll just be on her Switch, right? And that's so cool. Yeah. All right, people, I am going to go to a commercial break. I will be back shortly. So until then, I will see you in a few minutes. Adios.
You want to know what comes between me and my Calvins? Nothing.
Calvin Klein jeans.
Ultra Bright gets you noticed. Ask Tony, roller disco manager. For weeks, he had Hot Wheels for Sally, the skating instructor. But to Sally, Tony was Stumble City. Then Tony discovered Ultra Bright. Ultra Bright White. Dynamite Fresh. It got him noticed. That night, Sally and Tony paired off in a quiet corner. They've been head over wheels ever since. Get on Ultra Bright for a smile so white, it gets you noticed.
When it's recorded on a tape that's built to standards 60% higher than the industry calls for, rock and roll is really here to stay.
You shake my nerves and you rattle my brain. Too much of love drives a man insane. You broke my will, but what a thrill. Goodness gracious, great
Max
ball
7,
of fire.
it's worth it.
Make some noise about the Levi's tab on these corduroys. They're cords, Levi's cords. In colors to give you inspiration. For something with style and imagination. Any place or any time. Those Levi's cords look mighty fine. They're cords, Levi's cords. Levi's cords. Levi's cords. to do is taste peanut pepper. Know the pleasure, the flavor you will treasure. All you got to do is taste peanut pepper. The flavor's got a feeling, original and appealing. And all you got to do is taste the peanut pepper. Open up a Dr. Pepper. And all you got to do is taste peanut pepper.
It's Tatum O'Neal in her first motion picture since Paper Moon. She's a little older
Almost 12 and I'll be getting a bra soon.
and ready to play the game by her rules.
If I win, you play baseball for the Bears. And if I win, name it.
Academy Award winner Walter Matthau. Academy Award winner Tatum O'Neal. The Bad News Bears, rated PG.
And we are back. I'll get better at that, switching stuff around there quick. You know what would be really great is if I had an in-studio. And then let's switch cameras here. There we go. An in-studio assistant would be great. Miriam is awesome, but she cannot do what she's doing and what I'm doing here at the same time. So there you go. There you have it. There it is, right there in front of you. So this morning, I've got a little video to roll here. Pardon me, I had a little burst of satisfaction while we were in the commercial break. And that's something that my father used to be famous for during his commercial breaks on the radio cameras, was having his little commercial break. Okay, people, let's get down to it this morning. We are talking this morning a little bit about a little round piece of plastic that has taken over the living rooms across America. You've seen it on coffee tables. You've heard it in bedrooms. You've probably even heard it echoing down the hallway at school. 4 colors, 4 tones, 1 challenge. Simon. There we go. Now, if you're watching this in 1984, you already know the sound I'm talking about. That little melody that starts off slow and innocent, and then suddenly you're sweating like you're on a game show. Green, red, blue, yellow. One wrong move, and the whole thing buzzes at you like you set off the alarm at Radio Shack. Simon isn't just a toy, it's a symbol of where we are right now. We're living in the world where electronics aren't just for the offices or arcade anymore. They're in our homes, they're on our laps, they're in our pockets. And Simon is one of those first toys that really made people say, hey, this electronic stuff is actually cool, it's fun. Think about the world we're in. Pong hit a few years ago, and suddenly everybody's TV became a playground. Handheld games are everywhere. Kids are walking around with little LED football games, clicking away like they're calling plays for the Dallas Cowboys. And every time you walk into a store, there's a new gadget blinking at you from the shelf. But Simon stood out. It didn't need a screen. It didn't need a joystick. It didn't need a TV. It just needed your eyes, your ears, and your memory. And somehow that made you feel more futuristic than half the stuff plugged into the wall. What I love about Simon is that it's simple. It doesn't pretend to be anything more or less than it is. It's a test, a challenge, a dare. It looks at you right in the face and says, hey, you think you can keep up, eh? And the moment you say yes, it starts adding one more light, one more tone, one more step. Before you know it, you're 10 moves deep, and your whole family is standing behind you, and it's like you're defusing a bomb, isn't it? Yeah, I dig it. But here's the thing. Simon didn't just appear out of nowhere. It wasn't dreamed up by a toy company executive in a boardroom. It came from a very specific moment in time, when electronics were just starting to shrink, when microchips were getting cheaper, and when a couple of very smart people realized that the future of play, wasn't going to be made of wood and metal anymore. It was going to be made of circuits. Tonight, we're going to take a trip back and look at why this little memory machine came to be. Who made it, why they made it, and why the hell did they make that crap? And how it went from an idea on a workbench to a national obsession. Because Simon isn't just a game, it's a snapshot of the late 70s and early 80s. It's a disco lights in plastic form. It's the sound of a new era. And it's one of the first times that a toy looked at us and said, "Follow me, follow me." In the next part, we're going to meet the people behind Simon, the inventors, the designers, the programmers, and we're going to talk about the moment they saw a forgotten arcade machine and said, "We can do this better." But for now, let's just sit back and remember the first time you heard that little melody, and the first time you pressed those big colored buttons. The first time you thought, this is the future. All right, well, there you go. That's our first part talking about Simon. We've got 3 other parts to go, and we're just kind of keep buzzing around through the show here. Every 15 minutes or so, I'm going to go to a commercial break. I'm going to go to a commercial break now because they're kind of long. They're about 3 to 5 minutes at a whack. So we're going to take another break here so that when we come back at the half hour, we can we can really play around with it. And then at some point, we're going to unbox my 1970s Simon, and we're going to play around with it this morning. And I've kind of blocked out some time this morning, so we'll have like a half an hour to sit here and make a lot of noise in the house early in the morning. We're going to do it at the end of the show, of course, because it will affect the house. So there you go. All right, we're going to go to a commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to talk more about Simon, the electronic game. So see you in a bit.
Friday on Fantasy Island, 8 is Enough's Grant Goodeve goes for the most dangerous movie stunts ever dared. And Angie's mom throws the deadliest cream pie ever to hit Fantasy Island. Then the original movie bears are back in a brand new movie, The Bad News Bears Breaking Training. Tomorrow.
I've pushed a lot of ships around this harbor. I haven't lost one yet. When you finally get them on their own, that's when you realize how thirsty you are and how good a cold beer is going to taste. That's it, guys. It's Miller time.
Miller time. Time for America's quality beer.
Home again.
Miller High Life.
If you've got the time,
It's a Miller's for my
Miller's got the beer.
Search presents The Encounter. You never know when you're going to wind up face-to-face with someone. With Zertz, you're always ready.
I think I was here first.
Well, let's share the ride. Only Zertz has a great taste, plus a glistening drop of Bretson, and a fresh, clean flavor to get your breath fresh enough to go face-to-face.
Where are you going?
Wherever you are.
Zertz, for breath that's face-to-face fresh, and now new sugar-free Zertz.
Football fans will sit through almost anything to watch a good football game. Here's in television, NFL football. Come on! Now for Atari football. Hey, where'd everybody go? In television football, I think it's the closest thing to the real thing.
To be a pepper, original like a pepper, all you gotta do is taste. Be a pepper. To know the pleasure of a flavor you will treasure, all you gotta do is taste. Be a pepper. The flavor's got a feeling, original and appealing, and all you gotta do is taste. To be a pepper, open up the Dr. Pepper, and all you gotta do is taste. Be a pepper. Yeah!
It's going to be a long, hot summer, so don't get caught without your Taco Bell cooler cups. Not when Taco Bell has versatile two-piece cooler cups right now at a red-hot price. Just 49 cents when you order one of these delicious menu items at the regular price with a medium soft drink. So you can get a whole Taco Bell cooler cup collection, but you better start now. Summer will last a lot longer than Taco Bell's cooler cup offer.
Ooh, what a difference! Taco Bell! Taco Bell makes ooh!
Here's two good friends tonight.
Haven't they been down there long enough?
I know how to get them up.
Must say something more.
What are you doing?
Fishing.
So tonight, let it be low and brown.
When you want the taste of a truly great American beer, tonight, let it be low and brown.
Why were you guys down there so long?
Just waiting for a good reason to come up.
Let it be low and brown.
And we are back. That little humming you hear in the background now is my heater. It got a little chilly in here, so I turned the heater on. Welcome back from our commercial break this morning. You'll sometimes notice in the commercial breaks some young actors and actresses, Brooke Shields and Scott Baio, Tatum O'Neal. These are upcoming shows discussing these characters from my childhood. The people who kind of raised me. I was kind of a loner child, so the TV, the movies, that kind of stuff, that's where I got my influences. I'm a Sesame Street kid. I'm a Mr. Rogers kid. I'm a Bad News Bears kid. So bear with me this morning as we continue our time journey through the 1970s and 80s, which is where I grew up. Okay, we are going to jump back into the Simon electronic game this morning. Now that we've set the stage and stepped into the world that Simon was born into, it's time to talk about the people behind this little memory machine. Because Simon didn't just fall out of the sky, it came from a handful of minds who were way ahead of the rest of us, working in a moment when electronics were just starting to feel like magic. Let's start with Ralph H. Baer. If you've ever heard someone call him the father of video games, they're not exaggerating. This guy who helped create the first video game system long before Atari was a household name. But by the mid-1970s, Baer wasn't sitting in a big corporate office anymore. He was working independently, tinkering, inventing, consulting. The kind of guy who could look at a circuit board and see a toy, a game, a whole new way to play. Baer teamed up with Chicago toy design firm called Marvin Glass and Associates. Now, if you grew up in the 1970s or 80s, you've played something that came out of that building. They were behind some of the biggest toys of that era. They weren't a manufacturer. They were the idea factory, the workshop where the sparks flew. One of the partners there was Howard J. Morrison. Morrison wasn't a programmer. He wasn't an engineer. He was a toy guy. He understood how to take something technical and turn it into something fun. He knew how to make a product feel good in your hands, how to make it look exciting on the shelf. and how to make it jump off the page in a Christmas catalog. So picture this, it's 1976. Bear and Morrison are walking around the Music Operators of America trade show, and this is where companies show off arcade machines, jukeboxes, pinball tables, all the stuff you'd find in a bowling alley or a pizza place. And tucked away in one of the corner, in one corner is a little Atari, tucked in a little corner is a little Atari arcade game called Touch Me. Touch Me had the same basic ideas as Simon. Lights, flash, tones play, you repeat the pattern. The execution was terrible. The cabinet was dull. The buttons were tiny. And the sounds were so harsh they could peel the paint off the wall. Nobody wanted to play it. It was a good idea trapped inside a bad machine. But Bear and Morrison saw something different. They didn't see the little ugly cabinet or hear the awful tones. They saw the core of a great home game. Something simple, something addictive, something that didn't need a screen or a joystick, something that could sit on a coffee table and challenge anyone who walked by. So Bear went home and started building. He put together a prototype called Follow Me. It wasn't round yet. It wasn't colorful, but the idea was there. A microcontroller inside, lights on top, tones that played in sequence, and this is where the genius really kicked in. Bear knew the sound had to be right. If the tones were annoying, the game would fail. So he did something wonderfully old school. He opened up his kid's Compton's encyclopedia and looked up the bugle. The bugle only plays 4 tones. 4 notes that always sound good together, no matter the order. That was the secret. That's why the Simon sounds the way it does. It's not random, it's not accidental, it's a musical by design. While Bear was building the hardware, 2 other people were bringing the game to life behind the scenes. Lenny Cope programmed the core logic. He made the game think. He made it remember. He made it challenge you. And Charles Capps, a computer science professor, wrote much of the assembly code. This wasn't simple stuff. This was low-level programming on a tiny chip, squeezing every ounce of performance out of it, like they did in the first capsules that went to the moon, right? Once the prototype was ready, Bear and Morrison took it to Milton Bradley, and this is where the magic happened. Milton Bradley didn't just say yes, they renamed it. Follow Me became Simon. Suddenly, I got chills. Suddenly, it wasn't just an electronic game, a toy. It was a character, a personality, a voice, a command. Simon Says. And that's how a forgotten arcade machine, a microcontroller, a bugle, and a handful of brilliant minds came together to create one of the most iconic electronic games of our time. In the next part, we're going to talk about what happened when Simon hit the market, the Studio 54 launch, the Christmas rush, the variants, the cultural explosion, because once Simon arrived, it didn't just sell, it took over. And boy, I'm this whole Simon thing is giving me chills. This is great. We are going to, well, we are not going to rush the show this morning, I'll tell you that. I never really got to play with a Simon when I was really young, when it first came out. We couldn't afford that kind of stuff. In fact, I was famous in my family for taking a handful of anything and making fun with it, having some kind of joy in my life with a pocket full of string. Seriously, I mean, I was the kid on Pete's Dragon, right? I had a little wax, a little string, some ball and jacks. It didn't matter. If I had a little collection of stuff, I could do something with it and build something with it. I used to kill time as a kid untangling necklaces in my mother's jewelry box. She would just give me a wad of gold chains and jewelry and stuff, and I would have to sit there and very delicately untie, and I'm a little kid, you know, and sit there and untie all of these little strands of gold and silver and stuff. And that was funny. But I was also the same kid who could sit and be amused for days, you know, with nothing. I loved an erector set. I wish I had had time to invest in Legos when I was young, but that was way too much, even though they weren't overly expensive. When you're one of three in a family, it's hard to come up with the budget to please everybody's entertainment needs. Usually it was the television. Usually we had the television as our entertainer, or the radio. If we didn't have the TV, we had the radio. My father grew up listening to a little bit of radio as a kid, but mostly it would have been television. We spent a lot of time living differently, so quite often we didn't have a television. So that's what makes doing this so much fun for me, is that now I get to do the thing that I wanted to watch. Now I get to be the guy. Not that anybody is really going to be excited to tune me in every morning. So we are going to go to a break here in a minute, and well, we'll go to a break now, and I will be back, and we should, well, we'll get into part 3 of the monologue, or maybe we'll spend the next, the remainder of the hour, kind of swinging through the new format again, and talking a little bit about my own experiences with Simon. Okay, folks, I will be back in a flash. Don't go away.
This summer, 7 million people a day will reach for the freedom of 7-Eleven.
You're gonna like the freedom. You're gonna like the freedom.
Wow. Round the clock all summer long, we give you the freedom to get just what you want, just when you want it.
At your 7-Eleven, freedom's waiting for you.
We asked members of the 1200 First to demonstrate what it's like to ride new Freefall at Magic Mountain.
Okay, men, drop your chutes.
Freefall. We just take you to the top of a gigantic tower, push you to the edge, and then drop you off without any parachute wires or cables to slow you down. Freefall. To experience it, you have to come to Six Flags Magic Mountain or see your Army recruiter.
Susan, this is your cousin Howard. He's going to spend the summer with us.
The whole summer?
M&M's make friends, friends who share with one another. M&M's make friends.
With M&M's chocolate candies, the rich milk chocolate melts in your mouth, not in your hand.
M&M's make friends.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi, Jim.
Hey, what's up? Oh, I thought it was about time I paid you back. Paid us back? Pay us back for what?
Last Sunday when the Palmers dropped in, you, loaned me some beer.
Well, Jim, that was beer. This is Lowenbrow. Well, let's call it interest.
When you want the taste of a truly great American beer, tonight, let it be Lowenbrow.
You know, Jim, I've been thinking.
Maybe you ought to borrow things more often.
Time magazine calls it a vision of the movie's future, sights that no eye, no camera has ever before beheld. UPI finds it utterly new, vividly exciting, a trip and a half. Newsweek describes it as somewhere you've never been, a brave new world set inside a computer. No movie has ever looked like this before. Omni calls it an imaginative, spectacular film. Tron, rated PG.
Now playing at Man's Chinese Hollywood, Man's Westwood, and other selected theaters.
The only thing I have on is my radio, and my radio is only on K-West.
K-West 106.
On K-West, I get London and Engelman, and...
All right. K-West 106.
with London and Engelman.
I have a theragram for Mr. Stone.
He had a run.
Try him at lunch. I have a theragram for Mr. Stone.
He couldn't make it. Try the office.
Mr. Stone?
If you sometimes settle for one measly meal instead of 3 square ones, you should be getting a Theragram. Theragram M from Squibb.
Who sent this? Someone who cares about you.
The balanced supplement of extra potency vitamins and minerals. The multivitamin designed by doctors. Recommended most by doctors.
I have a theragram for you.
I think I'm getting a little bit better at that transition there. Okay, so queso. I love queso. Let's see here. I'm really enjoying this new format so much that when we're in the commercial break, I turn on my monitor here, my live monitor, and watch what's happening on YouTube. And those commercials, I actually remember many of those commercials from my past. It's not just putting together a bunch of stuff from the past. I actually get to find elements for my show that I used to enjoy back then. So that's pretty cool here. I'm gonna show you a little bit about what's going on here this morning on my desk, which is where we're going to see our Simon this morning. So if we look at my desk here real quick, we can see that I've got a few little items on my desk that we'll examine here before we clear my desk and get ready for the end of the show. At some point we're going to make we're going to make fun with the Simon and all that that entails. So I just wanted to get you up to date here with my desk and the stuff that I keep around me to remind me that I am indeed in the past. And here is my father's business card from the 1970s. This is about 1975, 76 here. So this is an important reminder that I have a past. So there you go. All right, let's do this. And before we get back into what's going on this morning, let's just talk a little bit about the new format. The new format came to me when I originally designed this show. It had this format. And when I first started the show, all I had was a webcam, an old microphone, and I mean an old microphone, a 1982 shotgun microphone for camera work, and an old 1982 stereo DJ mixer that I brought my microphones into so that I could go out into my computer and then adjust sound levels and stuff live from in front of me. And I started to create the Elsinore Brothers studio with just a bunch of old gear. In fact, when I first created videos, I used some 1982 Sony Trinicon cameras that I actually used to use back in the 1960s or the 1970s and 80s, late 70s, early 80s. My father was attending UCSD, and studying communications, he had to do a lot of video work, and he would involve us kids in his video projects. So I saw a lot of videotape when I was young. And when I first got one of these cameras and opened it up and took it out of the box, and some of the stuff I got was actually new. I actually bought it new out of the box. A guy who had bought it back in the 80s for a project and never got to it pulled the stuff out of his garage and sold it to me. And it takes, every time I open up the box, it takes me back. On a future show, we are going to do Sony cameras and Sony video work from back in the day, and we're just going to spend a whole show, a whole 2 hours, just playing around with the little gadgets and gizmos from back then that I used to play with. So I think at some point before the top of the hour, we're actually going to take another break, because I need to squeeze in the right amount of breaks for the show, so that we have enough of this and give us enough time to then just get right into playing the game. This business card of my father's, this is probably one of my most favorite time travel pieces, because this is something that takes me back to a time and a place that I remember very well. I was building a lot of memories at that particular time. In 1975, we were actually living in Hollywood on Franklin Avenue, just 3 houses from the community garden on Franklin Avenue. Well, Franklin, and then it turns onto another street, and that other street there's this giant, huge piece of property that was owned by somebody prominent in Hollywood, and they bequeathed it to the neighborhood as a neighborhood garden, and that is really cool. I don't know how that all worked, but at some point I'm going to figure that out, because that is going to be a great little story to figure out. Looking at some little notes I made on a post-it about future shows. This is really exciting. I was talking to my wife the other day. She was washing dishes, and I was standing around not helping, of course, just talking, blah, 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 because I had just finished the show. And I told her that the show is really, really good for me, because recently we had talked to our daughter, who is studying psychology at the university, and is just about ready to get into her last semester to earn her bachelor's degree. So yay! So she's talking to us about dementia and Alzheimer's and that kind of stuff, and she said it's not good enough to just do things with your hands and keep busy, like video games or knitting or something. She said you have to learn something every day in order to keep your mind active and working correctly, right? And I thought, okay, how can I work that into my everyday? And serendipitously, I changed formats on the morning show here, and it requires me to learn every day, not just do stuff and repeat processes that I've created to build my show and curate a show every day. It forces me to learn about stuff that I wouldn't normally learn about. So it really gets my brain cooking. And that right there, I explained that to my wife, and she's crazy. at least I won't have dementia and Alzheimer syndrome as bad as I would had I not chosen this path. So let's talk a little bit about the new format, and then we'll go to a break, and then we'll come back. And on Monday we discussed Jackie Earle Haley, one of my favorite, probably my favorite child actor from the days, and we're just going to keep going through kid actors until I can't come up with any more, and then we'll move on to maybe we'll move on to actors who were kids that in the 70s and 80s were then now in their adolescent, out of their adolescence and into their semi-adulthood or early adulthood, or maybe even like Little Rascals, Jackie Cooper and stuff. By the 70s, 80s, he was an old guy, you know. So I think that's probably a good path for me to follow, because I spent much of my youth watching young people do stuff, because that's what I was attracted to. TV shows where kids were at the helm. A lot of Sid and Marty Krofft stuff I enjoyed because of the kids involved. Sigmund and the Sea Monster especially, and that's another guy we're gonna go after. But that's in the future. So Mondays, everything movie related, and we'll show movie trailers and talk about actors and actresses in kind of a theater type, studio executive screening room type setting. Sometimes we'll be in a classroom, sometimes we'll be on the TV, because sometimes that's where we saw movies. Tuesdays and Thursdays will be exclusively here on the Boob Tube. And Tuesdays will be a morning news broadcast where we'll just discuss news from the past. And we'll just rapid fire, just keep bringing you news stories as much as we can during the 2-hour morning. And then Wednesdays, I get to really set the time dials back to my childhood, because we're gonna go be a DJ. We're gonna go to the EBS, the KEBS radio station, and we're gonna get behind the glass in the booth, and we're gonna warm up that board, and we're gonna spin some wax, and we're gonna talk about everything radio. And then Thursdays, we get to do this. We get to talk about products from the past. Sometimes we'll just have fun with them. Sometimes we'll just beat them to death and think, why the hell did they make this thing, right? Sometimes we'll talk at great length about things that should never have happened, things that should have been recalled. One of the things that I remember really, for some reason, it stuck with me, and I got really emotionally attached to the whole toxic shock syndrome from the 1980s. So if you're female and you're old enough to remember, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you're female and you have no clue what toxic shock syndrome is, you need to find out. Because it can affect anyone, really, but it mostly can affect women in the case that we're going to discuss next week. My printer should be here today or tomorrow. Hopefully it's here today, and then I can start printing out new monologues for next week and get ready for next week. Thursdays is going to kind of be one of those shows where we either have a whole lot of fun, or we ask the question, why would you even go there and build something like that, right? I don't have anyone to tell me if my microphone is too low, so I'll just turn it up anyway. So let's take a break, and after this break we will come back and talk more about Simon. See you in a minute. Bye.
quality.
When you've done the best that you can do, have a Newton. When they've said you're good and you know it's true, have a Newton. You took the time to be the best, now take time out for you. Be good to yourself.
Have a smooth, creamy Newton yogurt. It lets you be good to yourself in 22 flavors.
Be good to yourself. Have a Newton.
In Switzerland, yogurt is taken as seriously as counting Swiss francs, which is very serious. To the Swiss, a yogurt must be 100% natural. It must have active cultures and real fruit, and it must have a creamy, absolutely magnificent taste. To the Swiss, Yoplait is yogurt. Yoplait yogurt, loved in more countries than any yogurt in the world.
Indiana Jones is back with more of the action, more of the suspense, and more of the excitement that made it the greatest adventure film of all time. Raiders of the Lost Ark. It'll always be fun. Trust me. Raiders of the Lost Ark. Rated PG.
Starts Friday, AFCO Center Cinema, Westwood, and a theater or drive-in near you.
First, there was the burger. Then came the cheeseburger. Then the double cheeseburger. And now Burger King introduces the Bacon Double Cheeseburger. 2 flame-broiled burgers, tempting American cheese, topped with lean, sizzling, crispy bacon.
Aren't you hungry for Burger King now?
Aren't you hungry for the new Bacon Double Cheeseburger now?
I was known as one of the meanest players in hockey, but I didn't deserve that, right? I'm just a nice guy who comes in and has a few light beers from Miller with the boys. A pussycat who drinks light because it's less filling, and it tastes great. Really, if I was a nasty player, may a lightning bolt come down and strike this very spot.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
Ever since Honda invented the ATC three-wheeler, people have been finding out that three-wheeling is fun.
You call this fun?
And now that there are 5 different models, you never saw such fun.
Fun?
But would you believe that some folks use them just for work?
Follow the leader.
Neither would we.
Who'll last longer, Rick or Dry Idea Roll-On? Give ordinary roll-ons this kind of workout. They'll start to give out on you. They're mostly water, but not Dry Idea. Watch. The ordinary roll-on here, Dry Idea here. Minutes later, when perspiration starts, much of the ordinary roll-on can wash away, but not Dry Idea. Dry Idea has hardly any water, so it goes on drier, stays on longer, keeps you drier. In fact, you'll give out before Dry Idea.
The U.S. Cavalry to the rescue. 6 of the best Westerns ever made, starting Monday night at 8 here on Channel 5, KTLA, Los Angeles.
Kmart is all the things a great store should be. Quality at discount prices. Satisfaction always you'll see.
All right, people, I am back this morning, and you know what? Let's go ahead and switch to our wide cam here. I was just watching those commercial breaks, and man, they're a blast. I can't believe how much of those I actually remember from back in the day. I hope you're enjoying them. I try to pick out stuff that's kind of appropriate for the day. Sometimes they're nighttime commercials, but I gotta give you some variety. And yesterday I spent all morning long finding radio because it was Radio Wednesday, I did radio stuff. And I found so many radio shows and radio commercials, actual radio broadcasts from the past. So, yeah, next Wednesday we're going to be doing Wolfman Jack. We're going to talk about the Jack. We're going to talk about, we used to broadcast out of Mexico, Baja California. So we are going to get through part 3 of Simon, and then we're going to take another break, and I'm going to use that time to go use the little boy's room this morning, because I guzzled down that cup of coffee, and I'm about ready to burst. Alright, so back to Simon. By the time Simon finally hit store shelves, the world was more than ready for it. The late 70s were buzzing with new electronics, disco lights, and the feeling that the future was arriving one blinking gadget at a time. But nobody expected a memory game with 4 big colored buttons to become the star of the show, and yet that's exactly what happened. Let's start with the launch. Milton Bradley didn't just put Simon in a box and ship it to toy stores. They threw a midnight release party at Studio 54. That's crazy. Yes, that Studio 54. The most famous nightclub in America. The place where celebrities, disco dancers, and half the fashion world gathered under spinning lights and mirrored walls. And right in the middle of all that glitter and glamour, they unveiled a children's electronic game. It sounds ridiculous, but it worked. Simon fit right in. The colors, the lights, the rhythm, the pulse. It looked like a piece of the dance floor. It looked like something that belonged in the future. And when people saw it, they wanted it. When Simon hit stores in 1978, it was not cheap. $25 for a toy was a serious purchase. Adjust that for today, and you're talking at well over $100. But that didn't stop anyone. That Christmas, Simon was one of the hottest gifts in the country. Parents were hunting for it. Kids were begging for it. And once it made its way into a living room, it didn't sit quietly on a shelf. It demanded attention. Part of the magic was the design. Simon didn't look like anything else. It did. It looked like the cover of ELO Discovery. That's what I always made the connection. That's why I had to have one. It didn't look like anything else, of course, but that. It wasn't shaped like a gun or a robot or a spaceship. Well, kind of. It was a circle, a perfect, simple circle with 4 giant buttons that particularly begged to be pressed. Practically begged to be pressed. My brain. The colors were bold, the lights were bright, and when you turned it on, it didn't just beep, it sang. The gameplay was just as addictive. 1 tone, 1 light, easy. Then 2, then 3, then 4. Before long, you were leaning over a table, eyes locked in, trying to remember the exact order. And the moment you messed up, Simon let you know. That unmistakable buzz, that sound of defeat. And then, of course, you hit the start button and try it again. Simon wasn't just a game, it was a performance. It was something you played with an audience. Friends gathered around, siblings hovered over your shoulder, parents took turns. It was one of the first electronic toys that felt social. You didn't just play it, you watched other people play it. You rooted for them. You laughed when they messed up. You bragged when you made it to a higher level. And Milton Bradley knew they had a hit on their hands. So they expanded the line. In 1979, they released Super Simon. Ooh, Super Simon. Twice the buttons, twice the challenge, twice the panic. Then the sequence got long. Twice the panic when the sequence got long. And then came Pocket Simon, a handheld version that let you take the game with you. There's Super Simon there. And at the end of this commercial up there, and you'll see the little Pocket Simon. Suddenly kids were playing Simon on the school bus, in the backseat of the car, at recess, anywhere they could sneak in a few rounds. Ah, there it is. There's the line. Isn't that great? As the years went on, more versions appeared, different shapes, different modes, different twists on the same game, the same idea. But the original 4 buttons remained the icon. The one everyone recognized, the one that showed up in TV shows, movies, commercials, magazine ads. If you wanted to sell the world, the scene takes place in the 80s. All you need to do is put a Simon on the table, or a Rubik's Cube or something. The museums took notice. The Smithsonian, the V&A, they all added Simon to the collection. Not because it was rare, but because it represented something important. It captured a moment when electronics became fun and friendly and a part of everyday life. It was a symbol of an era, a piece of plastic that somehow managed to define a decade. And that's the thing about Simon. It wasn't just a toy. It was a cultural event, a shared experience, a memory machine in more ways than one. In the final part, we're going to zoom out and take a look at where Simon fits in the bigger story of electronic games, how it connects to the early days of video games, how it shaped what came after, and why it still matters today. And then we'll bring it home with a personal reflection on what Simon meant to us growing up in this incredible era of blinking lights and endless imagination. And then we'll actually play with a Simon, unbox it and play it and enjoy it, and have that experience here again. All right, people, I am going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I am going to read the final part of my 4-part monologue on Simon, the electronic game, and then we're really going to have fun, because we're going to open up that puppy and we're going to play with it right here. Hopefully the batteries are still good. I played with it recently on the Black Friday show. We spent a few minutes talking about it, which is why I wanted to do it as my first product here, because I really wanted to get into it. All right, people, I will be back momentarily, and until we get back, enjoy the commercial break, because I certainly do, and I can't enjoy this one because I gotta go to the bathroom. I'll be back in a few minutes, people.
Today we celebrate the first glorious anniversary of the information purification directives. We have created, for the first time in all history, a garden of pure ideology, where each worker may bloom, secure from the pests of a contradictory thoughts. Our unification of thoughts is more powerful a weapon than any fleet or army on earth. We are one people, one will, one resolve, one cause. Our enemies shall talk themselves to death, and we will bury them with their own confusion. We shall prevail.
On January 24th, Apple Computer will introduce Macintosh. And you'll see why 1984 won't be like 1984.
Welcome to a kingdom where everybody's treated like a king.
Now this is a castle.
Trump's Castle, the crown jewel of Atlantic City.
crazy nails. Simple to apply and reusable. She put them on herself. And am I glad she did. Now her nails are perfect. With stick-on crazy nails.
Shape up! We got
8 calories. We're up to something good.
sugar-free Jello gelatin.
We get bananas to chill and a vegetable thrill. A berry that shivers and a pineapple quivers. We're all nutri sweet, we're low in calories.
We're sugar-free Jello gelatin.
Look for our low-calorie recipes.
Yeah, we're up to something good. Yeah, we're up to something good.
Crazy glue. Strong enough to hold this woman suspended in midair. Bonds almost anything. A plastic knob or rubber boot, model planes and model trains.
The country's gone crazy. Crazy with crazy glue.
The pessimist sees the glass as half empty. The optimist sees the glass as half full. We, however, see it as a way to quench a thirst, boil an egg, or make something grow. Seeing the possibilities is capitalism at its best, and why you'll never look at a glass of water quite the same again. Shearson Lehman Brothers. Minds over money.
Some people worry about getting muscles. I worry about getting fat. Dieting doesn't keep me in shape. Exercise does. I work out hard, and I get results. All you need is Jack LaLanne.
Join during our grand openings and get 24 months for $19 a month.
What would you rather have, fat or muscle?
And we are back, people. Thank you for returning with me this morning, and thank you for joining me. If you're showing up after we've been live, thank you. This is a non-profit channel. I don't make any money off of this. I'm not monetized. I don't have commercials. Well, not in the way that they want us to. And I do this for pure satisfaction. So if you have a mind to, do me a favor and call the hotline here, the board, and talk to Miriam and get yourself a subscription, because that's where my fun is. You know, seeing the numbers go up is really cool. You know, it lets me know that people get it. So if you can share this with people and let them know that I'm here and what I'm doing, and I'm not trying to do anything overly produced like most shows. Shows that I really love, like Hecklefish. I love Hecklefish. I like the History Guy. There's a lot of shows out there on YouTube that I love to watch. But I didn't want to bring you something that was rigid and recorded and edited and picture perfect. I wanted to bring you something live, but I also wanted to bring you a mix of my past morning shows and a show that I've done that I created called the Video Time Machine. So this is kind of a combination of the two. I did 2 seasons of the Video Time Machine, and I learned a lot about material and what I can do live. So I've decided that I finally get to arrive at the moment that I planned 9 years ago when I originally got this channel and decided I wanted my own show. Hey, good morning, James. How are you doing? I just see on the message board here that James is out there watching. How did your physical therapy go yesterday? Contact Miriam in the fax machine there, and she'll be sure to shoot me messages here on the board. We've been talking extensively about Simon, the electronic game from the 1970s, and here is my Simon electronic game from the past. And if you'll hold on through the next 45 minutes, you're going to have fun. Because in about 15 minutes or so or less, we are going to open up my Simon here, and we are going to play with the game. I'm glad you like the new format, James. Right now it's taking a lot of energy and time to produce, but I'm spending a lot of time doing things in the next week or two that I won't have to redo. I won't have to ever do a lot of these things again. I'm creating kind of a pathway to follow every day. After I get done with the show, I can then create the next show for the following week. And while I spend a lot of time doing it now, it's mainly gathering and planning and creating an assembly line so that I can, like a network, I can pump out these shows every day, every week, and give quality shows. So I'm going to try to fill each show with as much blast to the past as we can muster up. All right, let's talk about Simon for the last time, and then we're gonna go to a break, and we're gonna come back and play it, or maybe come back and unbox it and then play around. All right, people. One last discussion of Simon. We've talked about what Simon is. We've talked about who made it. We've talked about how it exploded into pop culture like a disco-colored firework. Now it's time to zoom out and take a bigger picture. Because Simon isn't just a toy from the late 70s, early 80s. It's a landmark in history of electronic games, a bridge between the old world and the new. To understand where Simon fits in, you have to look at a timeline of electronic play. Before any of us had a Simon on the coffee table, before Pong, before Atari, before home consoles, electronic games lived in laboratories. Giant machines, oscilloscopes, the computer the size of refrigerators, giant machines. Games like Tennis for Two or Space War, brilliant, groundbreaking, but completely out of reach for the average family. Then the early 70s hit, and suddenly video games were everywhere. Pong in the arcades, Pong in the living room. Kids sitting cross-legged on shag carpeting, twisting little knobs and on a plastic console hooked up to the family TV. It was the beginning of something big. Electronics were shrinking, chips were getting cheaper, and companies were starting to realize that the entertainment didn't have to be made of wood, metal, or cardboard anymore. It could be made of circuits. By the mid-1970s, handheld games were popping up like popcorn. LED football, little calculators that doubled as toys, mini arcade machines with tiny screens. And right in the middle of all this experimentation, Simon arrived. But here's the thing, Simon didn't look like any of those other devices. It didn't have a screen, it didn't have a joystick, it didn't pretend to be a miniature arcade cabinet. It was its own thing. Simon was pure interaction, pure memory, pure tension. It stripped away everything except the challenge. 4 colors, 4 tones, a sequence that grew longer every time you got it right. It was simple, but it was so brilliant. I just got chills again. It proved that electronic games didn't need graphics to be fun. They didn't need characters or stories or explosions. They just needed a good idea and a clever way to deliver it. And that's where Simon's legacy really shines. It showed the world that electronics could be playful without being complicated. It opened the door for a whole generation of electronic toys that didn't rely on a screen. It helped normalize the idea that a microchip could live inside a toy. And it taught kids and adults that the future of play wasn't going to look like the past. Simon also did something else. Simon did something subtle but important. It brought people together. In an era where video games were starting to pull players into solo experiences, Simon was a social machine. You didn't just play it alone, you played it with an audience. You passed it around, you challenged your friends, you watched your parents try it and fail on the third tone. It was a shared experience, the kind that sticks with you. And here we are, in the 1980s, looking back at that moment when the Simon arrived and realizing just how much it changed. It wasn't flashy, it wasn't loud, it wasn't complicated, but it was unforgettable. It became a symbol of the era, a piece of the culture, a memory machine in more ways than one. When I think about Simon, I think about the living rooms of the time, the wood grain TV cabinets, the orange carpet, the smell of dinner still hanging in the air, a family gathered around the little table and a little round game that lit up the room with color and sound. I think about the excitement of trying to beat your own score, the frustration of messing up, the laughter that followed, the feeling that you were playing with something new, something modern, something from the future. And maybe that's why Simon still matters, because it reminds us of a moment when the future felt fun, when electronics weren't intimidating, where technology felt like a toy, not a task. Simon captured the spirit of an era, bright, bold, simple, optimistic, a little bit flashy, and always ready to challenge you. So as we wrap up our 4-part hard look, think back to the first time you pressed one of those big color buttons. Think about the sound it made. Think about the way the lights danced. And think about how it felt to be a part of a world that was changing right in front of you. Simon wasn't just a game. It was a signpost, a marker of the road, on the road of where we were headed. And in its own way, it helped light the path. And that is Simon. I am going to go to a commercial, so stick around. James, one of the kids out there, one of the irregulars, is out there watching, so I hope he's still around. And we are going to go to a commercial, and I will be back in a flash to open up our Simon, and we are going to play with it. So get your subscription now. Call Miriam. She's waiting for you. All right? And I will be back after this message, people.
It's heavy!
I found the way to the gold.
Pitfall by Activision. Quick to the Atari video computer system. Here, show us.
First, climb down the underground passage. Leap over scorpions. I said. Now, swing over the swamp crocodile. There, the gold. Did I mention the tar pits?
Pitfall, a jungle adventure game designed by David Crane from Activision. Now, Exxon brings you the power to overcome knocks and pings, to end hesitation, to clean fouled fuel injectors. Introducing new Exxon Extra Premium. Its high-octane power formula with detergent additive XCL12 keeps you running smooth. Move up to new Exxon Extra with XCL12.
Twin Lab for everybody. Twin Lab vitamins and minerals for anybody who wants to feel their best. Twin Lab for everybody.
Carte Blanche, a class card for guys like you and me. Mostly you.
To apply, call 1-800-638-6633.
Hi, I'm Charlie Golden, and my great-granddad invented Golden's mustard, a delicious blend of light and dark mustard seeds and special seasonings. And for 120 years, all of us Goldens have guarded the recipe. It adds just the right flavor to sandwiches and hot dogs. Fantastic. Or as a seasoning for potato salad. Delicious. Try Golden's. It adds just the right flavor, or my name isn't Charlie Golden.
From Channel 5 News in New York, this is a 10 o'clock news update.
Good evening. At 10 tonight, the menace of the drug crack is spreading now to young people in the suburbs. The hunt for any trace of the clipper ship that vanished in the Bermuda Triangle. A teenager's dramatic rescue off the California coast. New details on the big Statue of Liberty celebration, where to camp out, what roads will be opened and closed. And the emotional stories of some young people who tried to kill themselves but didn't. The Amazing as Sports, Lynn has the weather, and Stu is going to answer some of your letters. We'll see you at 10.
Rock bottom, rock bottom, rock bottom. Rock bottom. Everybody shopping the rock bottom way. Rock bottom. With low, low prices every day. Cosmetics, fragrance, shampoo, houseware, cars. We got it all for you. Rock bottom, rock bottom.
Rock Bottom's everyday price on Arid Solid Antiperspirant, $2.31. Metaquick First Aid Spray, $2.10. Colgate Regular or Gel Toothpaste, $1.39. Jerry Redding Shampoo or Conditioner, $1.94. Vidal Sassoon Hairsprays, $2.06. C&Ski Blockout, Cream, Lotion, or Spray, $4.55. And Nair Mousse, $3.07.
Rock bottom, shop the rock bottom way. With low, low prices every day. Rock bottom.
If you're not paying Rock Bottom prices, you're paying too much.
Rock bottom.
And we are back, people. All right, it's that time of the morning. We are done talking about Simon, and it's time to play. So let's do this. Let's check this out over here. Ooh, look at that. We got the Simon. Orale, mi Simon. So yeah, I've got a great camera set up, an overhead camera, so we can look right down at the video game itself. And let's go ahead and do that and see what it looks like. There we go. There is our Simon video game in the box. That's as far out as I can zoom that camera because it's directly over my head. So there you go. There is that. And so I am going to open the box here. And it is an old box because it is a well-used machine. And I'm so happy to have this. It's awesome when you can find something from your past to help you time travel. And the Simon, for me, it does exactly that. I never owned one, but I got to play the Simon that other people own. So there's that, and let me go ahead and take out the Simon book on instructions. And bear with me while we check out the game itself. And it still has little styrofoam wedges in there. The game is in great condition. Unfortunately, the back panel is there, but it's missing the clips, so it doesn't stay perfectly closed. But hopefully the batteries are in and charged and are working correctly. So we have the Simon, go ahead and switch again. We have the Simon manual here for one or more players. Simon is a computer-controlled game that consists of base unit with 4 lenses and a control panel. And that's it. Think fast, Simon says, chasing my flashing lights and sounds. Oh, chase my flashing lights and sound. The challenge is to repeat the ever-increasing random lights that Simon generates. There are 3 game variations you can play, and you can even set the level to the level of difficulty you want. Ooh. In any case, you are sure to enjoy hours of challenging fun with Simon. And I do believe it. And it is it's kind of a opened up set of instructions here. They're making it overly complicated. It's very simple. It's a simple game. You turn it on, you follow the pattern, and that's it. And there we go. That's probably the best I can fit it into the screen there. And let's turn this on. And it is set for 1-person game and skill level 1. And let's start. Hey, I did it. There you go. I completed the first challenge, which is pretty difficult for me. That was pretty cool. Yay me. I think the most important thing to remember for me when playing this game is to repeat the lights and the tone without repeating the speed. That's, I think, the key, is to remember fast but play it out nice and slow, like the turn it off, like the very first pattern that it gives you. It starts off nice and slow, boom boom boom, but you need to do it like that. When it starts to speed up, do not speed up. Remain constant in your speed, but think fast. That's it. That's all it takes. I'll say that now, and then the next time I play it, it'll be dumb. So that's our Simon. That is our Simon. I challenge you. At some point, I'm going to do Battleship. Right? I think that next week we might do Battleship. And we might do some video equipment as well. We may do before camcorders came along, before we had these cute little machines that you could jam a little tiny videotape into and had all kinds of great effects and a screen and everything built right into it, before it became a little tiny device. And I'll have other fancy little camcorder devices. It started off as a big giant bulky piece of machinery that you had to have a separate tape recorder for, and then a separate machine to actually tune it into a TV to watch it. Otherwise you had to have a professional monitor. You had to have all kinds of gadgets to put on the lens to create effects. You had to have microphones and headphones and lights and all of this gear, which required you to hire a videographer, somebody who had all that equipment. And I dare say that when camcorders came along, it just killed videography business completely. We were starting a videography business in the late 70s, and by the early 80s, it was pointless. It was pointless. People already starting to bring home equipment and do stuff themselves. So we're going to go to a break real quick and then come back, and I'm going to play the Simon again. I'm going to turn the level up and see if I can do the second level, and see where that game takes me. So let's see. Stick around, and I will be back in a flash, people.
It's heavy! I found the way.
Around commercial.
Pushy New Yorker.
What? You don't got tight spots in Jersey?
Yeah, and manners, too.
Yeah, manners, and you got my Giants, too.
Take it easy. 5-mile bumpers. I'm not bent out of shape.
Oh, funny. Lots of jokers in Jersey, huh?
Hey, you bumped me, lady.
Yeah, well, that's for the Jets. And if you got eyes on the Yankees, I'll really give you a whack.
Ford Escort, the best-selling car in the world, and nobody's going to take that away. Now save over $600 on specially equipped Escort Ls.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
There! Great! Now I can jog whenever I want. Rain, sleet, dark of night. They got bikes, weights, punching bags. You ought to work on your gut, fella.
This week, Caldor has a Puma sneaker sale. Save 30% on all leather basketball sneakers and nylon and suede joggers for men and boys. Children's, too. And Puma's women's and teens tennis sneakers and joggers are also 30% off. You'll never not find it at
I was
Caldor.
kidding about your gut.
Hey, now you can save even more with Haviland Supreme, up to $3. For details, look for this rebate coupon at participating Texaco retailers and stores.
Buying a new car has always been a wrestling match.
It's the good old guy against meddling Billy Byer.
Billy has the good old guy on the ropes. So overloaded with new Oldsmobiles, he's having a Memorial Day sale. Now's the time to squeeze your old guy for a special low price on Cutlass Sierra. Take him to the mat for a great deal on any old.
The winner of Big Saver on new Delta 88 meddling Billy Byer.
From your good old guy.
Big Apple Minute, brought to you by Mitsubishi. Mitsubishi takes you where you want to be.
No matter what the season, the Big Apple always blooms.
If you take $15,199 down to your Nissan dealer, you might get a Maxima. Toyota asked for more, over $17,000 for a Cressida. But if you take that kind of money down to your Mitsubishi Motors dealer, you'll see a huge selection of Mitsubishi Galants.
and you just might drive away in this world-class luxury car with something else. Change. See your Tri-State Mitsubishi Motors dealer.
Pardon me, I got a little bit confused there with my buttons. When I've got a lot of commercials lined up, it's hard to get my my board to organize everything. We've been talking this morning about the Simon electronic game, and there's my electronic Simon game here in all its fabulous glory. Let's see. It looks like someone has sent me a message to the board, so I am going to send them a link to this morning's show and see what they make of that. An old friend from the past. There we go. So we've been discussing the Simon game this morning, and we're gonna play around with it a little bit more. I hope you're enjoying the commercial breaks and the ins and outs for my show, and the station identifications that I've been creating. I've been trying to tie the past into the present with the show, but remain in the past. So I'm hoping that you guys will continue to join me with the new format. I hope it's fun and it's enjoyable. Let's see, we got the alarms going off here, buzzers beeping, people conversating. I am going to play some more of this game. I'm going to bump this up to the next level here and turn it back on and play another round and see how far I can get. We'll see if we can get up to level 3 or 4 before the next commercial break. Alright, so here we go. The inevitable. Well, I wasn't able to get through level 2 successfully. Of course, I was worried more about what I was going to repeat and not worrying about the end. Always focus on the end. Everything before that should be repetition. It should be just muscle memory by that point. And you should just have to be worrying about the last few sequences. And I did not do that. I think I should have gone back to red. Or was it blue? See? There you go. We never even got to blue, did we? So that's a tough game. That's a tough game. I'm going to try it once more, and then we're going to go to another commercial break, but I'm going to bump it up. Well, no, I'm going to try level 2 again. And if I successfully complete number 2, we shall try number 3 when we come back from that break. So here we go again. I completely lost where I started. Somebody write this down while I'm doing it and then read it back to me. That was tough. That was tough. We better go to another commercial break because I think that I am going to have to. I want to have to go to the little boys' room again there. All right. So when we come back, I will give it another shot, and then we'll wrap up the morning's show. So don't go away, people. I'll be back in a flash.
At Meineke Discount Mufflers, we get some pretty tough customers.
I'm not going to pay a lot for this muffler.
But we don't mind.
I'm not going to pay a lot for this muffler.
I'm not going to pay a lot for this muffler!
Meineke's the nation's discount muffler leader, so you're not going to pay a lot. Our quality Everlast mufflers are priced from $18.93 to $26.95 installed.
Ooh, I'm not going to pay a lot for this muffler.
You're not going to pay a lot at Meineke.
The government says we can make Hebrew national hot dogs that aren't 100% pure beef. We won't, we can't. We're kosher and have to answer to a higher authority.
Weeknights on Channel 5, there's laughter behind every door. Take a look. Three's Company at 6. One Day at a Time at 6:30. MASH at 7. And All in the Family at 7:30. Weeknights, the laughs are on us. WNYW, Channel 5.
Meet an extraordinary French wine, René Junot. René Junot. Imported from France. Get to know René Junot. René Junot is slightly extraordinary French wine.
So this guy walks in carrying this book. Usually his dirty shirts, pantsuit. So already I'm suspicious. He says, "Hello, I'm from Southwestern Bell. Would you like to see our New York Yellow Pages?" He says, "Why should I look at yours? I got my own from 9X. Half my customers got my name from that book." Needless to say, I didn't take his book. But I did remove a small stain he had on his lapel.
There's only one official Yellow Pages for New York Telephone, the 9X Yellow Pages.
From News in New York, this is a 10 o'clock news update.
Good evening at 10 tonight. Now it's the suburbs' turn to have big problems with a drug called crack. We'll tell you what happened when Phil Donahue took his fistfight dispute with a LaRouche supporter to the mediator. Jim Ryan pays a return visit to his old neighborhood, Parkchester in the Bronx. And Judy pays a return visit to the National Lampoon, the group that gave a boost to John Belushi and Chevy Chase. Now is a brand new show opening in town. We'll see you at 10.
On the next MASH.
I'm Benjamin Franklin Pierce, and this woman is my patient. She's an enemy gorilla. Good, I'll frisk her for bananas.
Is she a spy or a victim?
If he gets hold of her, he won't let up till he's got what he wants.
You mean torture?
Well, he starts with torture. Then to take your mind off the pain, he kills you.
Watch MASH at 7 and All in the Family at 7:30 tomorrow on Channel 5.
Here in Hidden Valley, the best part of Bob Chrysler's morning walk is the smell of fresh bacon.
Morning, Bob.
Now, he figured he'd tried bacon every way possible. But at dinner, Julie had a surprise. New original ranch with bacon. Real wood-smoked bacon brings out something special in that original ranch salad dressing, and Bob was downright impressed.
Why didn't we think of this?
This bacon lover's got a new favorite, and the reason's clear. All the goodness of Hidden Valley Ranch is here.
All right, people, we are back again this morning. Thank you for bearing with my technicalities the technical stuff I'm dealing with this morning. I'll get used to this new format and the switching. What I think I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take my audio video mixer and put it here in front of me and wire it all in front of me, so that with my mouse and my mixer and a keyboard and the computer here, I can write, produce, direct, and edit and star in the show all at the same time. It can be a little cumbersome to try to shoehorn all of this in to the morning program, but I'm doing it. So be sure to stop by tomorrow for Flashback Friday, because not only are we going to talk about my life from the past, which is what Flashback Fridays is all about, but we're going to bring in everything that we've learned throughout the week and kind of tie that into my past and your past. And as well, we're going to play more with the Simon. We'll have more time to sit and goof around with the little things that we discuss during the week. We'll talk more about Jackie Earle Haley. We'll talk more about the news events of the 70s and 80s. We'll talk more about radio and how radio was involved in my life. And we'll play around with the Simon some more and talk about the games that I used to play. And maybe even look at a few photos of this old fart when he wasn't so old. So that's kind of the week. That's what we're going to be doing every week. And the more we go on, the less I will discuss about this. What I will say, though, is that something really important that you could do is call the hotline. This is a non-profit public service show, and we're just here to help you. We're here to help facilitate time travel. So a way you could show your appreciation for that is to subscribe to the channel and call in, fax us messages. Miriam is always there ready to take your message and forward it to me on the message board, or when I'm on the radio, she'll just hold up a sign. So I sure hope you're having fun, because I'm having a blast. I'm still getting used to the whole experience of it all. So at some point it'll become a little easier for me to manage all of this. And yeah, I think that over the weekend I will probably try to shoehorn all of this into my desk here and create a news desk so that I don't have to spend so much time looking away. I like the microphone on the arm here because of my radio show day. I may have to dig up another one of these microphones here to place on my desk, so that on this kind of a day we can have the mic in front of us and it'll be a little more direct. With it sitting here on the desk, you won't hear my heater. So there you go. The new format is Monday Movie Memories, Totally Television Tuesdays, Old Time Radio Wednesdays, Throwback Thursdays, and Flashback Fridays. Mondays, everything movies. Tuesday, the news and views of the times and we're going to discuss a lot of TV on that day. Wednesdays, we broadcast live from a radio station, a radio show. Our own broadcast, a live radio broadcast with music and news and fun, and we'll discuss DJs and radio stations and radio and music in depth on that day. Thursday, like today, we're going to do products from back then. And Friday, we're going to wrap it all up, tie it all together in a nice little bow, and present it as our curated time machine of the week. Stay tuned after this morning's show, because I still have a commercial block left. So I'm going to use it up at the end of the show. So after we play the end closing, what I like to call the close. I have an open and I have a close. After we play the close, I'm going to load in that last little block of commercials. So be sure to call the hotline as soon as you can. It's 555. Call now. Talk to Miriam. She'll set you up with a subscription and get you in here every day of the week. All right? Becoming a regular. Come in and just hang out on occasion. Thanks for stopping by this morning, James. I appreciate you coming by, and I will see you guys tomorrow morning. As always, it's peace and love. All right? Spread peace and love, and be kind to each other. Do something for yourself today, but do something nice for somebody else too. Why? Because it makes you feel good, makes the other person feel good, makes you a better person, makes the world a better place. All right? Most especially stay weird, because if you ain't weird, ain't nobody going to be weird for you. You got to put in the work. You got to put in the effort. You got to do the work, man. Just do it. Just do it. Just do it. All right? Otherwise, just take care of yourselves. All right? Because if you don't, nobody will. If you don't take care of the world, nobody will. If you don't take care of the people around you, nobody will. All right? All right, people. Take care. Love you all. Peace, love, satisfaction, and it ain't guaranteed, baby. I will talk to you tomorrow morning on Flashback Friday. All right? Until then, adios.
Birth defects strike over 250,000 infants a year in this country alone. What can we do about it? Plenty. You know, research has shown that some birth defects can be prevented by proper prenatal care, and that includes good nutrition.
Well, that's not bad, but 4 pounds in 2 weeks is terrific.
I'm Mark Hamill, asking you to protect the unborn and the newborn.
Taster's Choice, the image of gourmet store coffee. Only Taster's Choice uses the superior blend of the very same coffee beans found in gourmet stores, Arabica beans, the world's costliest and most flavorful. Gourmet store coffee and Taster's Choice, a remarkable resemblance. Enjoy the richness, aroma, and flavor. Regular or naturally decaffeinated, the choice for taste is Taster's Choice.
Welcome back, Brad. All those trips you made paid off. The Avcon people just called and gave us the project. Check your top drawer. There's one more trip I want you to take. Aloha, Brad, and thanks.
When there's something special, people know it.
When can I pick up the pictures?
Thursday.
Thursday. Okay, let me make a note of that.
You gonna write it down there?
I was going to,
Oh,
yeah.
well, then let's say Tuesday.
You mean 2 days earlier?
No, 5 days later.
5 days later. I thought as much.
If this customer were at a Photomat store, we'd be introducing him to our brand new picture pickup promise. Photomat's way of telling you exactly when your pictures will be ready.
That quick?
Sure, and if it doesn't work out, you get a free roll of film.
Oh, no. You get in trouble for
It's
that.
no problem.
Huh?
It's a Photomat policy.
The Photomat picture pickup promise.
Is there a Photomat store around here?
Look, for service, selection, and value, it's Genovese. Now our Memorial Day coupon sale. Everything you need for the picnic, beach, family get-together. Like Coppertone, lotion or oil, only $2.69 with coupon for the 4-ounce size. Or scalp tissue, only 39 cents with coupon for 1,000 sheet rolls. And for extra savings, look for our circle of value signs. Discover why Genovese is the drugstore with so much more.
Now, for the first time ever, you can get touch-tone service from New York Telephone and save over $10. I'll tell you how after this.
Touch-tone service from New York Telephone. It's an important part of a lot of New York lives. Touch-tone makes calling faster, easier, and more convenient. It costs just $2.15 per month, so it's economical, too. Just call 1-800-THE-TONE.
Order touch-tone service now, and there's no connection charge. A savings of $10.30. There's no installation visit either. All you need is a tone phone. We'll send you a discount certificate good for savings of 20 to 45% on popular tone phones like these from participating manufacturers. Lots of colors, styles, and features to choose from. Plus, connect for free and save $10.30. But just for a limited time only, so call now.
To order touch-tone service for your home, call 1-800-THE-TONE.
Kmart is all